10. Essential survival skills you can practice in your backyard. Alright, let's cut to the chase. The world is fragile. One minute you're enjoying your overpriced latte, and the next you're wondering if you should start stockpiling canned beans and toilet paper. But here's the thing. Waiting until everything goes sideways is too late. If you're serious about surviving whatever comes next, the time to prepare is now. And guess what? You don't need a cabin in the woods or a bomb shelter to get started. Your own backyard is the perfect training ground. So, let's dive into 10 essential survival skills you can practice without leaving your home, all while keeping it fun, practical, and just a bit rebellious. 1. Fire starting without a lighter. Let's be real. Most people have never started a fire without a lighter or matches. But when the grid goes down, or your handy Bic runs out of fuel, you'll need to know how to spark a flame. The bow drill method sounds like a great idea until you're actually trying it. It's like trying to unlock a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. It looks easy in theory, but in practice, it's pure frustration. So instead, focus on flint and steel. You can practice striking sparks into some dry tinder in your backyard, getting the hang of building a fire even if everything around you is damp. If you really want to challenge yourself, try starting a fire with a magnifying glass. Just be careful. Starting a fire too close to the fence might leave you explaining to your neighbors why their flower bed suddenly turned into a bonfire. 2. Water filtration with household items. It doesn't take a doomsday scenario to remind you that water is life. Yet, when the faucets stop running, you'll need a way to purify water that won't send you sprinting to the bathroom. Luckily, you can practice backyard water filtration with some simple materials. Gather up sand, gravel, charcoal, and a piece of cloth. An old t-shirt works. Layer them in a bottle or bucket, and you've got yourself a basic filter that will make rainwater or stream water drinkable. It won't remove every microscopic threat, but it's better than raw pond water straight to the gut. Don't forget to boil that water for extra safety. Practice now, so when it matters, you won't be scrambling. And bonus, it makes for a great backyard science experiment that'll make you look like a genius. 3. Knot tying for non-sailors. If the closest you've ever gotten to tying a knot was a failed shoelace, it's time to get serious. Knots are more than just for climbers and sailors. They're life-saving. Practice the bowline, square knot, and figure 8 knot, starting small in your backyard. You'll need these skills for securing shelters, tying gear to your pack, and even rescuing someone in a pinch. And sure, tying knots might seem boring now, but trust me, when the wind picks up and you need to secure that makeshift tarp shelter, you'll be thankful you put in the time. Plus, nothing says I'm prepared like being able to tie a knot that won't come undone when it matters most. 4. Building a shelter with a tarp. Imagine this. The storm clouds are rolling in, and you need shelter fast. But instead of panicking, you whip out your tarp, rope, and some basic supplies, and within minutes, you've got a sturdy shelter that keeps you dry and warm. This skill can easily be practiced in your backyard. Try setting up different types of shelters: A-frame, lean-to, or even just a simple tarp tent. What you're looking for is efficiency. Fast, sturdy, and able to protect you from rain or wind. Don't have a tarp? Improvise with old sheets or plastic sheeting. Trust me, when the weather turns, your quick shelter building skills will be the difference between comfort and misery. And hey, if you get good at it, you might as well start charging your neighbors for camping lessons. 5. Gardening for the end times. If you think that canned beans will get you through a crisis, think again. You're going to need fresh food, and there's no better time to start gardening than now. But let's not go full farm mode just yet. Start small. Planting vegetables like potatoes, beans, carrots, and greens in your backyard will give you the essentials to stay alive when the grocery store shelves are empty. Learn the art of companion planting and take the time to create a compost system. That way, even your food scraps become valuable. With time, your garden can become a secret weapon for long-term survival. Don't forget to fence it in, though. Those squirrels might look cute now, but they'll be your greatest enemy when they're stealing your precious tomatoes. 6. Trapping for survival. If you're thinking you can rely on your skills as a hunter during an emergency, think again. Sometimes, your best option is to set traps and let nature do the work. Start practicing in your backyard now by learning to create snares for small animals. Within your area legal boundaries and not accidentally capturing your neighbor's pet, of course. Study where the squirrels and rabbits move, and you'll have a better chance of actually catching something if times get tough. The concept is simple. A basic snare can be made with wire, shoelaces, or even paracord. Practice on objects first before thinking about real use. And again, don't trap your neighbor's cat. There's a fine line between survivalist and criminal, and we're trying to stay on the right side of that. Even if you think Sir Stuffy's is annoying and wears ridiculous outfits because of the owner's weird tastes. 7. Basic first aid skills. Hospitals might be one of the first things to go down in a crisis. That means you'll be your own medic. I definitely don't recommend practicing your basic first aid in your backyard. However, you can simply prepare to have the items ready for each type of wound, with a simple kit, bandages, antiseptic, splints, and whatever else you have on hand. However, you can practice making makeshift slings out of t-shirts or cutting fabric to create pressure bandages. If you've got the nerve, you can even take it up a notch and learn to stitch up minor wounds. Kidding. Leave that to the professionals, unless you're in a real survival scenario with no other choice. No one said being a survivor was glamorous, but knowing first aid could mean the difference between walking away from an injury or being taken down by a simple cut. 8. Improvise weapons and defense. There's no sugarcoating it. Sometimes in a survival situation, the biggest threat is other people. That's where knowing how to improvise weapons comes in. Take a walk around your backyard and see what you can turn into a self-defense tool. A sharpened stick, an old metal pipe, or even a garden trowel could become your new best friend in a pinch. The goal isn't to go all Mad Max, but knowing how to protect yourself is just plain smart. Plus, it's a fun exercise in creativity and resourcefulness. You can even practice throwing knives or sharpening sticks to hone your survivalist edge. Just make sure your aim doesn't stray toward your neighbor's rose bushes. 8. Muffy. Prepping your secret garden. What happens when your public garden becomes a target for scavengers? Time to get sneaky. Prep a secret garden by planting low-profile veggies like root crops, potatoes, carrots, radishes, or hiding your edible plants among the ornamental ones. Indoors, start your seeds in small containers, then gradually transplant them to hidden spots in your backyard. Use vertical gardening techniques to make the most of your space and keep things hidden from prying eyes. Herbs in pots or concealed corners won't attract much attention, but they'll provide a steady stream of fresh food. Your neighbors might think you're just landscaping, but in reality, you're prepping for the long haul. 9. Foraging without dying. You've probably seen plenty of survivalists chomping down on wild plants, but here's the catch. If you eat the wrong thing, it could be your last meal. Learn to identify edible plants that grow in your area: dandelions, plantain, wild garlic. Your backyard could be full of food you didn't even realize was there. But foraging isn't as simple as picking leaves and chomping away. Some plants look alike but can be dangerous. Use field guides, apps, and even take classes to learn what's edible in your area. Practice now so you're not guessing when it's too late. 10. Stealth and camouflage training in a doomsday scenario. Blending into the environment might save your life. Practice moving quietly through your backyard, staying low, and using natural cover to your advantage. You can even practice camouflage by covering yourself in mud, leaves, and branches. It sounds silly now, but learning how to avoid being seen could be the difference between staying hidden or becoming a target. Whether you're bugging out or just playing hide and seek with your friends, these skills will come in handy when the situation calls for it. And if nothing else, you'll have a new appreciation for the art of staying out of sight. And there you have it. 10 essential survival skills that you can practice right in your backyard. Whether or not the world ends tomorrow, learning these skills gives you the confidence to face whatever challenges come your way. It's about independence, self-sufficiency, and being prepared for the worst, while secretly hoping for the best. So go ahead, turn your backyard into the ultimate survival training ground. And remember, when things go sideways, you'll be the one laughing in your self-made shelter, while everyone else is still figuring out how to turn on their flashlight.